Hello, my name is Jose Castillo, and I'm a freshman here at Wayland Baptist University. And today, I will be giving a speech over drug use and how common it is, and how much of a role it plays in the music industry. It seems as if every famous person who goes on tour ends up with some type of substance abuse. It's not only a problem in modern music, but it dates back as early as to the 60s and 70s during the classic rock and hippie era. First, I will explain why drugs are so common in the industry. Secondly, I will talk about how their mental health is affected by these drugs. And third of all, I will talk about some casualties that have happened due to drug overdoses. First, drugs and music. Drugs are referenced so much in modern and old music. An example of this are Suicide Boys, who are known for their drug use and how they put those perspectives into their music, such as in the song called Sold My Soul to Satan, Waiting in Line at the Mall. They reference an addiction by saying, "It's time to quit it, but I can't. I'll faint," meaning that they've already hooked onto some drug and can't just stop all of a sudden, because if not, it'll lead them to having physical consequences. Another example is the song The Needle and the Spoon by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Similar to Suicide Boys, they reference the use of heroin and how it damages you physically and mentally, and how it's addicting, and that if they don't stop the use of it, they could end up dying from the drug eventually because of how dangerous it is. Second, mental health affected by drugs. Imagine being away from home, on tour, traveling the world, not having anything to do, just playing the same music over and over. It sounds good to be away from home, doesn't it? Traveling the world? Well, that's not the case for many artists. Since they're away from home, not seeing their family, or away from different hobbies that they like doing, or even just away from home in general, it usually leads these artists to having depression, anxiety, being homesick, and they tend to drug use, thinking they could do it once or once every other time to help overcome that feeling. They try to fill that void. They detach from reality by getting hooked on drugs and building a tolerance, physically and mentally, that the body eventually just needs it to properly function. Drugs mess with the chemical balance of the brain, such as heroin with dopamine, which gives you a euphoric feeling, and Xanax with GABA A receptors that then make you feel really relaxed. These artists end up hooked on drugs, and it's really hard for them to quit. And I can personally speak on this because I myself have had a substance abuse with Vicodin and Valium. It is a really hard thing to get over, and I don't think people really realize how big of a problem this is. Now imagine having money, being famous, the overwhelmness you get from being a celebrity and turning to drugs. It's not an easy thing. I can speak over that because even after 2 years that I've dealt with, it is really hard. You're just stuck in a vicious cycle. And it's you think it's easy to just say, "Oh, I can quit," but it's not. It's a vicious cycle that eats you alive, and it's just so hard to overcome. Lastly, I will speak over some casualties. A big amount of lives have been lost in the music industry and are mainly connected to drug overdoses. In recent times, we have lost Lil Peep, who was a depressed rapper who overdosed on Xanax, and also Juice WRLD, who abused many different types of substances but lost his life due to Percocets. He had an accidental overdose. Both of these artists were 21 and very talented. Now, if we look back in time to some history, there are many lives that were taken way too early due to drugs, such as Kurt Cobain with a heroin overdose and Lane Staley with a speedball overdose. These are just two of the many lives that were lost due to drug overdoses. Also, from so many deaths in the industry due to drugs, it has left the 27 Club. The 27 Club consists of many famous musicians and actors who died at the age of 27, and a high percentage of those deaths were all drug related. Some examples of these are Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and many more. Drugs have always been around and still do revolve around the music industry, resulting in the 27 Club and in the addictions and deaths of many young, talented artists.